Here's the number one mistake newcomers make when it comes to accepting their first job offer in Canada. Hi there, my name is Anita Adefuye. I am the CEO and founder of Advanced and Fulfilled Coaching Company. We are a company dedicated to helping immigrated professionals advance their careers in Canada without all the overwhelm and establish their identities. And today I want to talk to you about the number one mistake that I find that newcomers are making when it comes to accepting their first job offer in Canada. And that is accepting the offer without compensation negotiation. Now, I'm going to tell you all about how to go about that and why you need to negotiate. But you landed your first job, congratulations, right? But before you sign that letter, what if I told you that that is not your best offer? And I get it. As a newcomer to Canada, you're excited about the job offer. You're probably thinking, I don't have the experience, so I can't negotiate. But that's not true. As a matter of fact, I have been there before. I remember, and it's crazy because it wasn't even my very first job offer, but it was my very first job offer in government. And because I had wanted to get into government so desperately, I do remember when I got a call and I was told that congratulations, we've offered you the position. It was even a summer student position, right? So I was so excited. And the first thing I said was, when do I start? And the guy who was talking to me on the phone, very interesting and wonderful person that I eventually got to work with. He just said, "Whoa, wow. Well, thank you for choosing to want to do this for free." And I remember thinking, oh, shoot, right. I didn't even ask for compensation. I didn't even negotiate anything. And I was like, of course I'll get paid. And he said, well, I don't think I've ever spoken to anybody on the phone before and offered them a job. And the first thing they asked me was, when do they start? People typically want to know how much they get paid, other things. There are other questions, but just not what I asked. So I get it. You're really excited. You're just happy to have broken the Canadian experience jinx. I get it. But here's something you need to know. And that is that companies actually expect you to negotiate. They're definitely not bringing their best foot forward on any offer. I've worked with a client before who was told that what they had offered initially was already just few $1,000s shy of the highest end point of the salary for that job position. And I encouraged him to go ahead and negotiate anyway. And he did. And guess what? They came back with about 10% more increase on top of what they'd previously offered, alongside other perks. So it wasn't just the money, as you will see in a moment here. So companies do expect you to negotiate. They're not giving you their best offer. And if you don't negotiate, what are you doing? You're leaving money on the table. All right. So be sure to first show appreciation, right? Because you want to be grateful, and show enthusiasm for the offer, and then go ahead to negotiate. And here's how you do so properly. Number one, research the market. As a matter of fact, quite frankly, you should do this even before you go into an interview, because some people might ask you what your expectations are for salary right off at the interview. So you want to go in armed with an answer, but typically I always recommend that when you're going with an answer, do your research properly and go with a range, right? But check salary ranges for roles on sites like Glassdoor, LinkedIn Salary, to see what others in your role are earning, right? Knowledge is power. And at the very least, you'll come up with some idea of a market value, right? And so knowing what that range is and going in knowing what that range is, it'll give you something to sort of start from and a range to work with, so that you don't go and ask something really absurd, right? Or you don't shoot yourself in the foot and ask for something that is really not at par with the value that you are bringing to the table. Number two is know your own worth. Okay, so it's one thing to know the market value, but what is your own value? And be sure to highlight that. Now, a good way and a good place to always start is check the job description. What do they ask for in terms of education, qualifications, years of experience? Do you bring more than they're asking for, or is there something extra about you that you're bringing to the table that sets you apart. I'll give you an example from my personal experience where I remember one position that I had negotiated salary. They had told me point blank, this is how much we give everybody in this position, regardless of who you are, at any time that you come in. And I said, do you typically have people who bring in international perspective to what you're doing, especially considering that you're dealing with a lot of international clients? And it turned out the answer was no. That right there was my unique value proposition. And that set me apart. And guess what? I got a raise above what they were offering, right? Because I was able to sell that. So know your own value. It might just be one thing that really just sets you apart from everybody else. That might be an option for them, right? Do you know what that is? And are you able to communicate that to them? Okay, so it can be internship experience that you've had. It can be a skill set. It can be a certification. It can be a lived experience, perspective that really just makes you stand up. But whatever that is, you need to know what it is, and you need to be willing to go in expressing that as your unique value proposition for why you deserve more than your their initial offer. Number 3, be professional, be specific, and be confident. Confidence is key. I cannot tell you. If you cannot sell it to yourself why you need the raise, you cannot sell it to the company or to the person who is offering you why you need that raise or why you deserve that raise, quite frankly, right? So instead of saying phrases like, can you increase the salary? You say things like, based on my research, market value, and my skills, or based on this specific thing that I have, which is your unique value, I was expecting something closer to X amount, right? Do you have room to adjust? Is there room to adjust? I would really appreciate if you can adjust to something within this range, if you have a range you're working with, or if you can come in at this amount, if there is an amount you're thinking, and then you can give them that opportunity to go back and forth and agree on something. But I always recommend that know what your lowest point is and know at what point you're willing to say, yeah, I really don't care anymore. As long as I get this amount, I'm fine. So that if you're going in at that, and they're doing that back and forth with you, you know at what point you're willing to pull the plugs or put a stop to it, either by accepting the offer that they're giving you or by walking away from the offer. And yes, you can walk away from an offer. They're not the only ones that can walk away. All right. So number 4 is that negotiate beyond salary. Negotiate beyond salary. So sometimes it might not just be all about the money. And that's the truth. There is more to compensation than just salary. If they can't budge on pay on the actual dollar amounts, then ask about bonuses. All right, can they give you higher percentages of bonuses? Can they match your RESPs? Not RRSPs, that's your retirement. Or I have kids, so my brain thinks RESP all the time, alongside RSP. So can they match that? Can they match a TFSA account for you? Can they fund professional development courses or trainings for you? These are all big ticket value items that can really make a difference in your career and in how you position yourself with regards to what you get. So these are 4 key areas that I want you to think about when you're going in to negotiate. And do not be afraid to negotiate. I get it. A lot of people might be coming from cultures that negotiation is seen as something you don't do. You get the job offer, you should be grateful for it, and you go. But that's a different ballgame here. And if you're going to be Canadian, you might as well do it right, even in your career, right? So remember, the worst that anybody can do or say is no. But the best is that you can walk away from that with more money, better perks, and a stronger start to your career. Because get this, when you get into that company, especially if it's a place you're looking to spend some time, quite frankly, it will be a lot more difficult to try and negotiate your way out of whatever salary you've accepted to come in with. It's not that it's not doable, it is doable. And let me know in the comments if you'd like me to talk about how to negotiate a different salary after you've gotten into the company and realized that you've lowballed yourself. Just let me know how you're going to, if that's something you want me to talk about, and I'm happy to do a video on that. But if you go in on a stronger value, then it's easier to just sort of keep rising. And even for your next opportunity, you've got to keep that in mind. So now you know, negotiation isn't just possible, it is expected. So the next time you get a job offer, don't just accept. All right, ask for what you're worth, because you're worth something. Ask for what you're worth. Let me know in the comments, or tell me in the comments Have you ever negotiated a job offer? What worked for you? What didn't? There are others who are watching this and are going to learn from that as well. So let's help each other grow. And if you found this useful and helpful, don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe if you're watching on YouTube, and follow us if you're watching on any other of our social media platforms, and subscribe for more career tips, and share this with someone who needs it, because you just never know who might. And I hope to see you in our next video. Thanks and bye.